Hello, I'm dgerard, and this is Pivot to AI, coming to you daily. Today, OpenAI takes a big loss in Germany. GEMA is the music publishing collections organisation in Germany. They're big and they're powerful and they throw their weight around, and lots of people think they're dicks. Large swathes of YouTube are still blocked in Germany because they might contain music that GEMA hasn't been paid for. But in general, GEMA is very willing to make a deal to make sure their songwriters get paid their cut. So GEMA decided it was going to take on these AI guys. In September 2024, GEMA put together a license scheme for AI companies with ongoing license fees, not just a one-off payment. GEMA's proposed license fee would be, get this, quote, a 30% share of all net income generated by the generative AI model or system of the provider, unquote. 30% of all the profit OpenAI makes, if it ever makes a profit. They also want ongoing payments for any AI-generated music. So in November 2024, GEMA sued OpenAI because ChatGPT was happily spitting out lyrics by German songwriters on request. So yesterday, GEMA won big in the Munich Regional Court against OpenAI. OpenAI had argued that the large language models did not store copies of the lyrics. It was just whatever the model had been trained on by the whole training set that happened maybe to include the lyrics. This is the sort of argument that Stability AI successfully used against Getty Images, as we saw in yesterday's episode, that the models aren't literally a copy, even though they are actually a compressed copy of all their training data. The Munich court did not buy OpenAI's argument. Language models can absolutely just reproduce their training data, and GPT very obviously did that precise thing. The court said the training data was fine, training is okay, it's spitting out copies that constitutes spitting out copies. OpenAI argued that if the chatbot just happened to spit out a copy of the lyrics, that was the user's fault for asking for them. The court didn't buy that either. It was OpenAI that put the lyrics into the training data and made them available. So the court has prohibited OpenAI from reproducing the lyrics. If you ask ChatGPT for song lyrics, it will now block the output on copyright grounds. It will still produce a translation of lyrics into another language if you ask for that. The Munich judgment is not final, it can be appealed. OpenAI says, quote, we disagree with the ruling and are considering next steps, unquote. But then they would say that. GEMA also sued the AI music generator Suno in January for allegedly spitting out recognizable copies of licensed German songs. There is not a date for that trial yet. OpenAI has already threatened to leave Europe if it gets regulated too hard. I'd like you to imagine GEMA being the ones who drive the chatbots out of Germany. Thanks for tuning in to Pivot to AI. Please tell just one annoyed musician about this episode. Hit like and subscribe on YouTube, leave a nice podcast review, and don't forget the important step where you drop $5 into the Patreon linked in the show notes below to support Pivot to AI. Thank you all. See you tomorrow, and bye for now.